Welcome to the National Assessment for Schoolheads Review NASH 2025. Mock C Review Questions. For this video, we will present 50-item NASH mock questions. Another 50-item NASH mock questions will be presented in the succeeding videos. Make sure to subscribe to this channel.
Question number 1. The M&E plan is a document that offers instructions on the goal and procedure of monitoring and evaluating any policies, programs, projects, office directives, and activities. It includes 4 essential processes that are vital to the M&E process, including defining the parameters and goals for the reporting, sharing, and application of M&E outcomes. How will you, as the school head, maximize the M&E plan's operationalization? Number 1, correct tools to be used during the monitoring and evaluation. Number 2, read the operations manual as regards the details and procedures of the M&E plan. Number 3, encourage the school community to conduct an in-service training as regards to M&E. Number 4, makes use of infomercial or other platforms to orient the public on the school's accomplishment. Number 5, analyze data and see the story behind the numbers in order to think of appropriate programs to be conducted. So for letter A, 1, you'll do 1, 2, and 3. Letter B, you'll do 2, 3, and 4. Letter C, you will do 1, 3, and 5. Letter D, you will do 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so jot down your answers. Number 2, which of the following best represents the 5 levels of solo taxonomy? A. Unistructural, multistructural, relational, extended abstract, pre-structural. Letter B. Pre-structural, unistructural, multistructural, relational, extended abstract. Letter C. Pre-structural, multistructural, unistructural, relational, extended abstract. Letter D. Multistructural, pre-structural, relational, unistructural, extended abstract. Okay, for number 3, in solo taxonomy, what does the term unistructural signify? A. Understanding one key idea. B. Understanding multiple interconnected ideas. C. Understanding abstract concepts. D. Lack of understanding of any key idea. Number 4. How does solo taxonomy contribute to educational assessment? A. It provides a framework for evaluating teacher performance. B. It aids in ranking students based on their performance. C. It assists in designing assessment tasks at varying cognitive levels. D. It focuses solely on numerical grading systems. Number 5. Which of the following is a characteristic of the extended abstract level in solo taxonomy? A. Grasping simple facts and concepts. B. Applying knowledge in new and complex situations. C. Memorizing and regurgitating information. D. Demonstrating superficial understanding of the topic. So, number 6. What is the main purpose of using solo taxonomy in curriculum design? A. To simplify the curriculum for students. B. To promote critical and deep thinking in students. C. To standardize the curriculum across the schools. D. To accelerate the pace of learning for students. Number 7. In solo taxonomy, at which level does a student demonstrate a relational understanding of a topic by making connections between different ideas? A. Pre-structural. B. Unistructural. C. Multistructural. D. Relational. Number 8. How can teachers utilize solo taxonomy to differentiate instruction in the classroom? A. By providing the same learning task to all students. B. By adapting tasks to match the varying cognitive levels of students. C. By focusing solely on rote memorization. D. By ignoring the students' different learning needs. Number 9. What role does solo taxonomy play in promoting the student autonomy and self-directed learning? A. It limits the student's freedom in exploring the topics independently. B. It encourages students to rely solely on teacher instruction. C. It empowers students to take ownership of their learning process. D. It discourages students from asking questions and seeking clarification. Number 10. Which of the following best characterizes the multi-structural level in solo taxonomy? A. Grasping a single K idea at a profound level. B. Understanding multiple interconnected ideas at a basic level. C. Demonstrating superficial understanding of a topic. D. Applying knowledge in a new and complex situations. Number 11. How does solo taxonomy help in promoting metacognitive skills among students? A. By encouraging memorization of facts. B. By fostering reflection and self-assessment. C. By discouraging critical thinking. D. By promoting standardized learning approaches. Number 12. At which level of the solo taxonomy does a student demonstrate a lack of understanding of any K idea? A. Pre-structural. B. Unistructural. C. Multistructural. D. Relational. Number 13. In what way does solo taxonomy support the development of the higher order thinking skills? A. By focusing solely on lower order cognitive skills. B. By providing a structured framework for progressing towards higher order thinking. C. By limiting students to rote memorization. D. By discouraging independent inquiry and analysis. Number 14. How can solo taxonomy be used to inform instructional planning and delivery in the classroom? A. By disregarding the individual learning needs of the students. B. By providing a one-size-fits-all approach to teaching. C. By tailoring instruction to match the cognitive development of students. Letter D. By enforcing rigid teaching methodologies. Number 15. Which of the following characterizes the extended abstract level in solo taxonomy in terms of student engagement? A. The passive reception of information. B. The active application of knowledge in novel context. C. Rote memorization of complex concepts. D. Limited exploration of ideas beyond the surface level. Number 16. How can the use of specific examples and scenarios in multiple choice questions aligns with the principles of solo taxonomy? A. It encourages rote memorization of facts. B. It challenges students to recall basic concepts. Letter C. It allows for testing higher order thinking skills. And letter D. It limits the cognitive engagement of students. the way the mock tests are constructed during the inquest mock test are actually using this specific examples and scenarios in a multiple choice questions. So definitely the way that the questions are structured in the inquest will be in a form of higher order thinking skills. It is patterned after the solo taxonomy. Number 17. In the context of solo taxonomy, what is the significance of requiring multi-logical thinking in multiple choice questions? A. It encourages reliance on single fact analysis. B. It promotes the use of isolated knowledge. C. It discourages complex reasoning and application. D. It requires students to apply interconnected concepts logically. Number 18. How can questions clusters be beneficial in assessing higher order thinking through multiple choice questions? A. By increasing the number of questions for memorization purposes. B. By reducing cognitive load and enhancing question variety. C. By limiting the depth of cognitive engagement. D. By standardizing the assessment process. Number 19. What role does the use of multiple true-false items play in evaluating students' understanding within the framework of solo taxonomy? A. It encourages guesswork and random selection. B. It reveals nuances in students' partial knowledge. C. It limits the assessment of cognitive skills. D. It simplifies the assessment process. Number 20. How can higher order multiple choice questions be designed to assess the student's ability to apply knowledge in real-world settings within the context of solo taxonomy? A. By focusing solely on the recall of specific examples. B. By challenging students to analyze and solve complex problems. Letter C. By emphasizing theoretical knowledge over practical application. D. By encouraging students to rely on predetermined rules and concepts. Number 21. How can the use of specific samples and scenarios? I think this is the same with previous questions a while ago. How can the use of specific samples and scenarios in multiple choice questions align with the principles of solo taxonomy? A. It encourages rote memorization of facts. B. It challenges students to recall basic concepts. C. It allows for testing higher order thinking skills. And letter D. It limits the cognitive engagement of students. Number 22. Among the following statements, which one does not align with DepEd's goal of creating a conducive environment for effective teaching and learning? Number 1, teachers shall render 8 hours of service per day, with 6 hours of which shall be devoted to actual classroom teaching. Number 2, the remaining 2 hours shall be allotted for work incidental to the normal teaching duties, which may be spent within or outside the school premises. Number 3, other teaching-related work, such as but not limited to school coordinator, need not be compensated in accordance to RA 4670, Magna Carta. Number 4, in exigency of the service, actual classroom teaching in excess of the required 6 hours shall be compensated through payment of teaching overload and may exceed 2 hours per day. A. 1 and 3 only. B. 1, 2 and 3 only. C. 3 and 4 only. D. 1 and 2 only. Next question, number 23. Which tasks listed below are not considered ancillary tasks for teachers during the remaining 2 hours of the regular work? A. Preparation of lesson plans. 1. Preparation of lesson plans. 2. Action research. 3. Attendance to LAC sessions, LAC coordinator and set coordinator. 4. Preparation of instructional aids and materials. 5. Checking and recording of learners' attendance and participation. 6. Assessment of learners' progress. 7. Homeroom guidance and management. 8. Conference with parents and home visits. A. 4 only. B. 3 only. C. 6, 7, and 8 only. D. None of this. Which of these are not considered ancillary tasks? A. 4 only. B. 3 only. C. 6, 7, and 8 only. D. None of this. 24. Which of the following teaching-related assignments may be designated to teachers to ensure they remain focused on their core mandate? Number 1, Reading, Literacy, and Numeracy Coordinator. 2, Research Coordinator. 3, SNED Coordinator. 4, ICT Coordinator. 5, Guidance Coordinator. 6, School Paper Advisor. 7, Sports Development Programs. 8, SELG or SSLG. 9, Grade Level Chairmanship. 10, Learning Area Chairmanship. 11, Gulayan sa Paaralan. A. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. D. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Which of the following teaching-related assignments may be designated to teachers? In accordance with the Vacation Service Credit Policy, what is the equivalent of 8 hours of service provided outside regular work hours in terms of vacation credits? A. 1.5 hours of vacation service credit is granted for every 10 hours of services rendered. B. 1.25 hours of vacation service credit is granted for every 8 hours of service rendered. C. 1.25 hours of vacation service credits is granted for every 10 hours of service credits or service rendered. D. 1.5 hours of vacation service credits is granted for every 8 hours of service rendered. Number 26. According to the guidelines, what is the timeline for the school head to report defective goods to the school's division superintendent when delivered goods are damaged, defective, or not in conformity with technical specifications? A. Within 48 hours of receiving the goods. B. Within 10 working days of receiving the goods. Within 3 working days from delivery. C. Within 3 calendar days of receiving the goods. D. Within 3 working days from delivery. Sa option na letter B, within 10 working days of receiving the goods. So, yung pangalawang option, nandito siya sa letter D. So, is it A, B, C, or D? Number 27. Which of the following is true under the declaration policy of RA 9155? Number 1, the state protects and promotes the right of all citizens to quality basic education. Number 2, providing Filipino children free and compulsory education in the elementary level. Number 3, free education in the high school level. Number 4, includes the ALS for out-of-school youths and adult learners. A, 1 and 2 only. B, 2 and 4 only. C, 2 and 3 only. D, 1, 2, 3, and 4. All of these are true for letter D. Number 28. Mr. X is the newly appointed Principal 1 of Gilas Elementary School. All of the teachers, parents, PTA officers, and members praised him for his systematic application of an array of skills which provided an orderly, efficient, and effective school environment. Which of the following characteristics of Mr. X was being described? A, managerial acuity. B, managerial superiority. C, managerial acumen. D, managerial efficiency. Number 29. Mr. Y is the newly installed principal of XYX National High School. On his third week as the school principal, the PTA president came to his office with a letter of petition towards a master teacher in English. Unfortunately, he was caught unaware of the existing problem of the school. What element of management crisis is shown? A, threat. B, urgency. C, surprise. D, decision. Number 30. Mr. Z is the newly appointed focal person in a primary school in the NCR. Due to lack of funds to make a riprap of the school premises, he made collaboration among the internal and external stakeholders. What competency is being shown by Mr. Z? A, political competency. B, leadership competency. C, architectural competency. D, managerial competency. Number 31. In observance of the National Disaster Resilience Month, Mr. Leonardo Alvarez, the school principal of Angeles City National High School, addressed the teachers through a Zoom conference about the government's initiative on natural disasters. Here's a part of his message. The Philippine government and Department of Education recognizes the importance of being prepared during the natural disasters. That is why initiatives have been made throughout the years to better equip Filipino people, especially educators, with knowledge on how to better deal with these disasters. One of these initiatives is the disaster preparedness measures for schools, promoting family earthquake preparedness to our elementary and secondary schools, and guidelines on student-led school watching and hazard mapping. And on top of these things, funding has also been made available for teaching and non-teaching personnel who were affected by natural disasters through calamity loans and quick response fund. In this address about the natural disaster preparedness, what domain in the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads does Mr. Alvarez exemplifies? A, domain 1, leading strategically. B, domain 2, managing schools, operations, and resources. C, domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. Letter D, domain 4, developing self and others. Here's a part of Mr. Alvarez's speech during a graduation ceremony at the Angeles City National High School. The Angeles City National High School has always dreamed of providing the best education for its students to equip them with knowledge and skills to progress in life. But aside from equipping them with knowledge, we also desire to hone their personality and spiritual aspect to help them become better citizens of this country. We are doing our best to be in line with DepEd's goal to help students realize their full potential, continuously improve themselves to be lifelong learners, and above all, to be God-fearing students. In Mr. Alvarez's graduation speech, what domain in the PPSSH does he exemplifies? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. C. Domain 4, developing self and others. D. Domain 5, building connections. 33. In a private school, there has been improving its guidelines. A private school located in Makati, a fictional school, has been improving its guidelines for teaching every year to deliver better results for students. The students' parents and students themselves are an integral part of this yearly improvement because the school solicits their suggestions and feedback. This idea was spearheaded by its principal, Ms. Vasquez, because she believes that everyone deserves to be part of improving the students' welfare and development. In what domain in the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads does Ms. Vasquez initiative fit perfectly? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. C. Domain 4, developing self and others. Letter D. Domain 5, building connections. 34. Video conferencing became an indispensable means for learning during the global pandemic. And while it provided convenience for both teachers and students, it also gave way to some new problems. One such problem is Zoom fatigue, which refers to students' burnout caused by the long use of video conferencing applications. This fatigue results in the loss of students' interest and attention, which negatively affects their learning. That is why Mrs. Vasquez held a video conference meeting with her teachers, to discuss how to deal with this problem and improve their virtual classes. With Mrs. Vasquez's initiative to deal with the rising problem of Zoom fatigue, what domain in the PPSSH do her efforts fit? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 2, managing schools and operations. C. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. D. Domain 4, developing self and others. 35. During Mrs. Vasquez's video conference meeting with the teachers, she also raised another problem about the students' lack of motivation for attending their virtual classes on time. That is why she suggested that the reward system must be implemented to encourage students to become punctual in their virtual classes. According to Mrs. Vasquez's suggestions, the points that students will earn each month will then be converted to additional points in their exams or other things that are beneficial to the students' academics. With the principal's suggestion, what domain in the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads does she exemplify? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. C. Domain 4, developing self and others. D. Domain 5, building connections. Number 36. To better prepare the students for earthquake situations, Mrs. Vasquez invited 2 representatives from the NDRRMC during the school's yearly earthquake drill. The representatives taught students the proper way of protecting themselves from the rest of this natural calamity. With Mrs. Vasquez's effort to further hone the students' knowledge of protecting themselves during earthquake situations, what domain in the PPSSH does she exemplify? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 2, managing school operations and resources. C. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. Letter D. Domain 4, developing self and others. 37. Mrs. Vasquez recognizes the importance of financial literacy, not only for students but also for the school personnel as well, because this knowledge will enable them to manage their finances properly. She is also aware of the risk posed by the lack of financial literacy, and to arrest this rising problem, she decided to do her part in equipping the students and school personnel with knowledge in this area. That is why she partnered with an NGO called Pinoy Peso Power, a fictional NGO, which aims to bring financial literacy to more Filipinos. The NGO believes that equipping Filipinos with knowledge on how to manage their finances properly is one of the major keys in their progress. Pinoy Peso Power has already partnered with many institutions to further spread financial literacy to Filipinos, and their school was their latest partner to the School Heads Initiative. With the principal's partnership with a financial literacy-centered NGO, what domain in the PPSSH does she exemplify? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 2, managing school operations and resources. C. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. Letter D. Domain 5, developing self and others. Number 38, Mr. Garcia, a principal of a fictional school, a private school in Manila, decided to do something different on the school's 25th anniversary celebration. Mr. Garcia not only wants the celebration to be fun, but also to be educational as well. That is why he decided to make a business-themed celebration by encouraging the school's class sections to set up their mini businesses on the school's premises and have a friendly competition with each other. On top of that, he also invited some representatives and branch managers of nearby business establishments to share their business experiences and tips with the students. Mr. Garcia took this initiative to highlight the importance of business not only in making profits, but also in serving the community's needs. With the principal's initiative to make business-themed celebration for their school's anniversary, what domain in the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads did he exemplify? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 2, managing school operations and resources. C. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. D. Domain 5, developing self and others. 39. Mr. Garcia has launched a campaign called Voice Out Your Voice, which encourages students to submit the suggestions to improve the various aspects in their school, most especially in learning. A suggestion box was placed in the hallway to encourage students to submit their suggestions. But Mr. Garcia knew that students would be more encouraged to participate in the campaign if they can do it anonymously. That is why he had set up a dedicated email address and phone number for this campaign. And this way, more students would not hesitate to send their suggestions, and the steady stream of ideas from the students can certainly make big improvements to the school. Mr. Garcia initiated this campaign because he believes that aside from the teachers and the school personnel, the students should also participate in the school's continuous improvement. In this initiative, what domain in the PPSSH did Mr. Garcia exemplify? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 2, managing school operations and resources. C. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. D. Domain 5, developing self and others. Number 40, Mr. Garcia is one of the founders of the Facebook group called Filipino Teachers for Philippine Progress, which aims to be a place where educators and school heads can share knowledge and experiences with each other. The Facebook group aims to hone educators and school officials' knowledge and appreciation of school management by helping one another. The groups, which Mr. Garcia co-founded with Mr. Alvarez, Mrs. Vasquez, and Mr. Garcia, have now grown into 20,000 strong members. So far, the group keeps on growing, and thousands of members have been helped in terms of improving their knowledge and skills both in teaching and school management. With the 4 school principals initiative to establish a network of fellow school heads and teachers, they've set an example that clearly exemplifies a certain domain in the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads, which is A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 2, managing school operations and resources. C. Domain 4, developing self and others. D. Domain 5, building connections. Number 41, here is a part of Mr. Garcia's opening speech at the Manila Schools Principals Conference held at a convention center, sectional conference. Do not let your title get into your head. My late dad repeatedly told me when he was still around us. And this simple yet very important advice was what guided me in my 4 years as principal of the high school. But I must admit, there are times when my position and authority really get into my head. And sometimes I tend to think that those things are enough reasons not to check on my performance and progress. But over time, I've learned the importance of being honest with myself, to see myself in an objective way instead of viewing myself through a subjective lens. I've learned that I should always seek to improve and not remain stagnant, because even with the position that I have, there are still a lot of things that I need to learn. Mr. Garcia's speech is a clear expression of what's run in the Domain 4 of PPSSH. A. Strand 4.1 Personal and Professional Development. B. Strand 4.2 Professional Reflection and Learning. C. Strand 4.3 Professional Networks. D. Strand 4.4 Performance Management. 42. Mrs. Reyes, a principal of fictional school, a private school, provided a free seminar for educators residing in Pampanga about the appropriate disciplinary measures for students approved by DepEd and the government. Mrs. Reyes decided to conduct this seminar to hone teachers' knowledge about the appropriate measure they need to take when they discipline their students. With Mrs. Reyes' initiative, what domain in the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads defines her effort the closest? A. Domain 1, Leading Strategically. B. Domain 2, Managing School Operations and Resources. C. Domain 3, Focusing on Teaching and Learning. Letter D. Domain 4, Developing Self and Others. Number 43. Students at St. Joseph High School are very familiar with Mrs. Reyes, not only because she is the school principal, but also because she utilizes every communication means to effectively communicate with students. She writes articles in the school's publication that usually covers the school's latest policies, DepEd orders, and other improvements being done at high school, at St. Joseph High School. These monthly articles also serve as a report not only to the students but to their parents as well. Mrs. Reyes also communicates with the students to the social media by posting weekly advice on the school's Facebook page. These advices usually covers tips on studying, time management, decision making, developing one's personality. This weekly posting was such a huge hit on students because they can clearly resonate with the topics and advices that Mrs. Reyes posts. And believe it or not, she even tapped the TikTok platform because she is aware that most youth today are using this application. In her TikTok account, she provides daily wisdom, empowerment, and motivation for students to help them win from the daily challenges of life. In Mrs. Reyes' series of efforts, which domain defines her efforts the closest? A. Domain 1, Leading Strategically. B. Domain 2, Managing School Operations and Resources. C. Domain 4, Developing Self and Others. The Domain 5, Building Connections. Number 44. Mrs. Reyes has received complaints about a sports committee teacher who was allegedly misused a sports fund intended for students' allowance and purchasing of their uniforms. After verifying the report and finding out that the teacher had indeed committed a violation, Mrs. Reyes approved the teacher's suspension in response to the complaints of both students and parents. With Mrs. Reyes' actions toward the misconduct of a teacher, what domain in the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads clearly reflects her response? A. Domain 1, Leading Strategically. B. Domain 2, Managing School Operations and Resources. C. Domain 3, Focusing on Teaching and Learning. D. Domain 4, Developing Self and Others. Number 45. Last September 2018, in celebration of Teachers Month, Mrs. Reyes was invited by a local radio station to talk about the profession of teaching. Here's a part of her interview. Radio anchor. Was the best part of being an educator. Mrs. Reyes. My top 3 on the list would be the opportunity to touch the lives of the students, chance to improve their personality and being a second family to them. And these 3 great things are what make the profession of teaching more fulfilling. The 4th one, of course, is the benefits given by the government to teachers. There are the 13th and the 14th month pay, chalk and clothing allowance, paid vacation and hardship allowance for teachers who are assigned to places that are not accessible by regular means of transportation. There are also the leave privileges like maternity, paternity, study leave, and of course, there are the GSIS, the PhilHealth, and the ECP benefits. With what Mrs. Reyes has said in her radio interview, what domain in the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads does she clearly reflect? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 2, managing school operations and resources. C. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. D. Domain 4, developing self and others. Number 46. Mr. Agustin, the principal of a national high school, wants to improve the school sports committee so they can produce skilled players in the next competition. And he was informed that their mathematics teacher and Filipino teacher were former sports champion in their college days. Sir Iman was a 2-time MVP player, while Ma'am Andrea and her team back then became an overall volleyball team champion. Wanting to top their knowledge and abilities in sports, Mr. Agustin decided to include them in the sports committee to beef up the school's efforts in improving their athletes. With Mr. Agustin's efforts to tap the skills of one of the school's teachers to improve their sports committee, what domain in the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads does he clearly exemplify? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 2, managing school operations and resources. Letter C. Domain 4, developing self and others. 47. There's a part of Mr. Agustin's speech at the school's graduation ceremony last 2018. Right from the very start, the high school has always wanted to be a haven of learning and development for students. But we do also recognize that we cannot achieve this big dream alone. We are aware that aside from teachers, students, parents, and our stakeholders also play a major role in developing an environment that brings holistic development for our beloved students. That is why we've always treated them as close partners all these years, and we are grateful for their continuous cooperation. In fact, if not for them, if not for you, we would not be where we are today. And I hope that this crucial support will continue for the years to come. In Mr. Agustin's speech, what domain in the PPSSH reflects his message the closest? A. Domain 1, leading strategically. B. Domain 3, focusing on teaching and learning. C. Domain 4, developing self and others. D. Domain 5, building connections. 48. You discover that your school's budget for the upcoming academic year is significantly lower than expected. How can you allocate the resources effectively to address critical needs while staying within the budget? A. Implement across-the-board budget cuts for all departments. B. Prioritize essential areas, student safety, teacher training, and allocate funds accordingly. C. Request emergency funding from the district office. D. Ignore the budget constraint and proceed with the existing plans. (49) Several experienced teachers are considering leaving the school due to dissatisfaction. How can you create a supportive environment that encourages teacher retention and professional growth? A. Increase the teacher's salaries immediately. B. Conduct exit interviews to understand reasons for dissatisfaction. C. Hire new teachers to replace those leaving. D. Ignore teacher concerns and focus on the student outcomes. Number 50. The school lacks strong ties with the local community. How can you involve the parents, the community leaders, and businesses in supporting the school's initiatives and fostering collaboration? A. Organize community forums and invite stakeholders to share their perspectives. B. Limit community involvement to fundraising events. C. Avoid engaging with external partners to maintain independence. D. Rely solely on school staff for decision making.
Like and subscribe to the L&D channel on YouTube using the link youtube.com/@learn2lead channel.